So the date is the 8th of March 2025. I am at Anfield for the match against Southampton. It is International Women's Day, which is very topical for my research today. I will be a female fan by myself at the men's game. So I wanted to document and take you all along to sort of see what the typical experience would be. Like, I'm not from Liverpool. I'm obviously from South Wales, so that's also a little factor, maybe why I feel a little bit out of place. I've never felt uncomfortable before, but I think this might be a different experience to be sitting by myself in the stand by myself. Like, I've been a few times and I've usually been with somebody that I know. Already had to get the Uber by myself, didn't enjoy that from the centre. There is a lot of women and children and it's suddenly gone very quiet with the live music. But I think today as well is an interesting fixture. It's Saturday afternoon. It's a good family fixture.
Her Game 2 has set up the First Time Fans initiative in order to give female fans the opportunity to watch their teams play for the first time in a safe and inclusive space. I spoke to COO of Her Game 2, Rupa Vyas, ahead of kick-off, while she led Anfield's First Time Fans on International Women's Day.
So Her Game 2 just want to get more women and girls involved in football, whether that's women's football or men's football. So in partnership with EA Sports, we were provided tickets to the match, and we do this across Premier League, EFL, all the way down to bring women and girls to their first ever match. I think it's just really good that we can provide these opportunities in partnership with our Her Game 2 partners. There are a lot of women that come to places like Anfield day in, day out, of all ages. But I think just making sure everyone feels welcome and everyone has that opportunity. I think obviously clubs like Liverpool, it's hard to get tickets anyway, so that's another barrier on top of the existing barriers for women in sport. Yeah, I think it still happens to this day, to be honest. If I'm sat next to someone who's maybe a little bit too rowdy or makes a weird comment about women being at the football, I've had it quite recently, which is a shame. It shouldn't happen, but I've learnt now to ignore it, or I know where to go to report it, whereas in the past I've just kind of dealt with it and accepted it being part and parcel of me being a woman at the football, and now I know it's not the case. I think obviously community initiatives where girls are included, sometimes things are tailored towards boys and men, so making women feel included, and I guess just taking away that pressure, because I feel like people think you have to know everything about the sport to be able to come and watch, and that's not the case at all. Every time, name this player, name that. And I was like, if you actually knew me, sort of what I've been doing in the past, the people that I've mingled with, I think you'd understand that I know a lot about football. And I think that applies to most people. Yeah, I really hope so. I think today so far has been a great success, and I really hope that we can continue to bring more women and girls, hopefully a bigger group next time, to Anfield and many other stadiums across the UK.
I'm heading over to the turnstiles now. I'm in the Anfield Road end, so it's the one opposite the Kop. So near to the away fans. So I'll be honest, I feel most uncomfortable because I'm doing this. I feel more self-conscious of that than anything else. I genuinely think this is probably the most women I've seen at a game. And whether or not I'm just consciously looking for it, who knows? But, I came to Newcastle 2 weeks ago, and I made a point of looking around to see if I could see how many women I could see. And I counted maybe 3 sat near me in maybe hundreds of men. So, but in front of me now there's 2 women. So, including myself, I've already hit there's another. There we are. So, I've exceeded the count that I had last time. Managed to get a lovely chat with Rupa and some of the first-time fans. That was really nice to hear from them, and just hearing their experiences and just being able to get women to games is already a step in the right direction. So I am on the concourse now. Might be the first time I felt a little bit like, oh, I'm alone. There's a lot of men, there's a lot of alcohol. I also don't want to read too much into things for the sake of this. I want to keep it as fair as I normally would feel as well.
Game's just finished. In terms of how I was feeling, and got a little bit more maybe on edge than I normally would have. Not, I think on edge is the wrong word. The sense of just maybe a bit more awake. There was maybe one incident where up next to me was just man spreading a little bit, but I wouldn't say that's necessarily football specific. I think that's just life, isn't it? It's not necessarily a life experience.
I think now it's just the battle of leaving, trying to leave. But luckily my dad actually ended up coming, so I guess I don't necessarily have that battle of having to walk by myself out of here. And like I said, it's the middle of the day. I feel like this would be a completely different experience if it was a late kickoff, a midweek late kickoff. So, who knows?
It is the 12th of April, so just over a month since my last live football match. I'm currently walking to the train. Today I'm going to see Cardiff v Stoke. So these are two teams that I'm not familiar with, because I'm going to be sitting in the Cardiff end, and I will have someone with me this time. I will have Seren, so another female, but she is admittedly less of a football fan. We have just arrived in Ninian Park. I met Seren on the train, just so we could go together and have a bit more of a comfortable experience. I don't know, just we're both a little bit apprehensive. In conversations before today, we're a little bit apprehensive because I've never been to a Cardiff game before, but I'm relatively experienced at going to football matches. We talked before today about apprehension. So are you still feeling similar? Or is...
I mean, it's kicking in now, definitely, and I would just go, the station. I'm like...
We are at the stadium now, just a little check-in before we head into the stands. We went into the pub, didn't we? Mm-hmm. For me, that was probably a little bit more overwhelming. It was, very male-dominated, and my typical football-going culture, I typically don't go to have a drink beforehand. However, you felt fine in there.
Yeah, I think I've working in a pub and stuff like that. I don't feel that of anxious in there, so it's fine for me.
Generally feeling good before we go in today.
Better than I did at the train station.
I've done all I can to feel slightly included. I've got a blue top on, got the hat I normally wear to go to the football. You've played it safe in all black.
Yeah, I mean, it was easier than wearing the rival colours.
So it's half time. It's been, for me, quite a normal experience. I felt a little bit on edge. Got asked kind of small talk. I felt really paranoid about that. He asked me what I thought the score was going to be, and I'm not. I just felt really paranoid. So I don't know. I think it says a lot about me and my insecurities as a football fan that I was overthinking it, and I was thinking you're testing my knowledge, but he wasn't. He was just making conversation. One thing I have observed, there's a young fan in front of us, isn't there? And he's swearing a lot. And when I say young, I mean maybe 7, 8-ish. And he's shouting F you, ref, shouting abuse at the away fans. So I think that's interesting that, at least that was what I can assume is his dad. It's interesting that culture is obviously being passed on and taught now. So I asked Sarah how she felt about it, and you said you hear it at rugby. That's not new.
Yeah, I'm kind of used to it in rugby especially. Well, any sport has it. F1 has it, rugby has it, every sport has it. The thing for me was the start. A bit on edge. I didn't know any of the chants, and I felt a bit like I feel like I'm out of place. But the more I'm here, I'm actually getting into the atmosphere. I don't feel as nervous. One thing I have seen, a banner, a Her Game 2 banner, and as soon as I seen that, I was like, I like that I was here in this stadium.
And this stand as well, we're in the Canton stand.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to choose a Cardiff game that reflected the Liverpool game in the timing of kickoff. So 3 o'clock Saturday kickoffs, because I know it's a different atmosphere anyway. So it is full time, and I can say I've never wanted to leave a stadium faster. A late winner for Stoke. You felt the atmosphere shift.
Yeah.
And again, it wasn't anyone in particular. It wasn't gender specific. It was a bit of tension in the crowd. There was something happening down the front, not too far in front of us. I felt a little bit out of place for the team more than anything, more than gender.
Oh yeah, 100%. You feel like nothing towards being a female. It was the outcome of the game. Well, what happened really.
Yeah. You did say you had one positive takeaway from it though.
I mean, as I used to be a football fan when I was younger, it's not now reinvented my love for it, but it's made me. I had the same thing in, I do for rugby inside when I was cheering on the team. So I think that's one good thing from it. I'm now starting to become
quite included.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I'm now back into the football scene.